Well, hello my friends, it's your old pal Jordan the Lion, and this is this month, August's Q&A. I'm sorry it's a little late. I got so wrapped up in doing so many things that I just plain forgot about it, and then all of a sudden the other day I finally had a moment to sit down and I said, wait a minute, where did I do the Q&A this month? And I started thinking, I said, I didn't do one, so I'm sorry about that. It's literally just because I've been so busy, and you guys have been watching, so you know, and I do apologize. So you asked me a ton of questions, so I don't want to neglect any of them. I'm going to try and give you as direct of an answer without getting all long-winded as I can, like I'm doing now. So first question is, can you tell us a little bit about Jeffrey and Nando, the little wooden guys you have hanging? Oh, these guys? Well, I got Jeffrey, I got him in, was it Frankfurt Airport in Germany when I was coming back from Budapest. And Nando I got when I went to Italy. I just like them. I think they're just funny, and sometimes I like to do little gags with them. Nando got his name from one of the characters in It Started in Naples, which I vlogged on that Italian trip. And then Jeffrey got his name because at the time that I got him, Toys R Us was closing, and Jeffrey was the name of the giraffe, so I just named him Jeffrey. So yeah, that was all there was to that. The next question was, were you able to raise enough money to help pay for Leonard's brick? You guys actually contributed most of it. That was just kind of I decided I was gonna do it, and I wanted to get the best brick there was, so it was $1,000. And on, I believe it was my 3-year live stream, I just said, hey, anybody that contributes like a super chat in this live stream, I'm just gonna put it towards that brick. And then some people said, can we PayPal as well? So between the PayPal and the super chat, it covered about $650 of it. So I already mailed off the check so that we can get it in motion, because I'm not quite sure when they put it down, but I do know it's guaranteed, because it's the bronze brick, it's guaranteed to be right in the very front of the front step of the house, so it will be impossible to miss, which he would, I'm sure, appreciate. So I mailed that off the other day, so once that check gets cashed, we'll know for sure that it's been accepted. And I wrote his name about 3 or 4 times on the order form just to make sure they didn't think that I misspelled it or something, because his name is Leonard and it's Leonard without an O, and I don't want them to go, oh, he accidentally did this, so we'll just put it in for him. No, I wrote it 3 or 4 times with my phone number and everything to make sure if they have any questions to contact me, so it's gonna be right. The next question was, if you're able to have a conversation with Houdini, what would you discuss? I think I would ask him what was his closest call other than what killed him. What was the closest call in one of his illusions that he didn't plan on, or something happened? That was probably what I would ask him. See, the next question is, have I ever traveled to Romania? You saw in a video that there was an amazing cemetery there, and that there's Dracula's castle. Yeah, there is a Dracula's castle there, but I don't think he ever actually lived in it. I think they just call it that. But yeah, I have looked into Romania. It just, when it came to other places, they just seem kind of more exciting, so it's just been always kind of bumped off the list for somewhere else, but I wouldn't be opposed to going to Romania. The next question is, what's the best concert you've ever seen? What band or performer would you love to see but you haven't seen yet? The best concert I've probably ever seen would be either a tie between probably Kiss in Brooklyn was pretty awesome. They were really on the money. Just cause, and it's cause they're so just theatrical to begin with, you know, it's amazing. Also Rolling Stones were pretty awesome. But Flaming Lips, when I saw the Flaming Lips at, I believe it was the Greek Theater, that was one of the most insane things I've ever seen. It's been hard to top for anyone, because he got into a bubble and walked out into the crowd. They had confetti cannons, and they had like 30 of their fans dressed up in mascot outfits dancing on the stage through the whole show. It was just, you just felt like you entered Alice in Wonderland. It was really, really out of this world. It was beyond music. It was a full-on experience. So those would probably be the 3 that immediately come to mind. I've seen a lot of great shows and a lot of great musicians, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some, because like I said, I've seen so many. more people that were on my list to see. I've gotten to see almost everybody other than, you know, a small handful that have passed away. So, see, the next question is, with all the punk rock history in Hermosa Beach, have you ever considered doing Black Flag, Descendants, Circle Jerks, Pennywise, or Maricosta High School, which was used in Rock and Roll High School? Yeah, I wasn't really into those bands. My interest in punk was pretty much like the Vandals, and kind of that time period. I wasn't real, yeah, I just wasn't really into those bands. As far as Maricosta, yeah, if I get down there, it's just kind of really out of the way of where I usually am. And one of my least favorite things about living in Los Angeles is driving in Los Angeles. So, not to say I won't ever do it, but I'm sure at some point I'll end up down there and I'll go, oh wait, this is down here, I'm gonna vlog this today. So, it's probably how that'll happen. The next question would be, how would you rate and compare LA's subway versus New York? I think they were pretty much even. I'm sure people in LA would say no, the ones in LA are no good, but I've never really had a problem. There's just more in New York that connect, so LA, you really only have certain ways that you can go, and huge chunks of the city aren't covered by the subway, whereas in New York it is. So I would say in that respect, New York is far ahead. But as far as like how often the trains come and how crowded they are and stuff, they're both about equal. And how safe I felt pretty much equal on both. The next question is, what was the most surprising thing about your New York City trip? I was surprised that I didn't encounter rain. I thought for sure something was going to happen. I mean, I did encounter rain, but not till pretty much the end of the vlog that day at World Trade Center. But I thought for sure something was going to happen where I was going to derail one of my vlogging days and that I would have to plan and do something else, and that never happened. I actually got lucky and I got to do every day's worth of vlogs that I wanted, including my last day was planned to be the Kiss concert and everything, because I had to take off the next day to be home for the Rolling Stones concert. But when I started doing the math, I go, hey, I have enough time before all this to go to Madame Tussauds, and I can make that my last official, because I knew I was going to fly home like at 11 a.m. the next morning and I wasn't going to vlog anything. So I said, oh, you know, instead of it ending at the Kiss show and then next thing you know we're at another concert, I'll go to Madame Tussauds. So, you know, it was just one of those things. But yeah, I think that's the most surprising thing, is that I got to do everything, and I was really, really happy that I got to go see Babe Ruth. I really wanted to do that. Next question is, what would be your top picks of things that really stood out? I'm guessing you mean about New York City. Yankee Stadium was pretty awesome. I really liked taking the train and ending up in those places and walking around. Like, it was just kind of cool to be on my own walking around Brooklyn. When James took me over to eat when we went to the Coming to America and stuff, it was just kind of cool to get to see like real life. And like the fire hydrants had been cracked by the fire department for people to like go run through or whatever, and people were washing their cars. I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, simple things, and there were more things that I wish I would have had time to vlog. I literally, like I said, the way I had planned it, I just didn't have any more days, because literally I wanted to go to the Kiss show. That was part of, you know, a big part of the reason of going was to meet Vinny, and I was supposed to stay at Vinny's house. That was the bigger disappointment of the trip, and I saw somebody ask that, so I'll talk about that later. But yeah, I knew I wanted to go to the Kiss show, and that was on the 20th, and then the Rolling Stones were the 22nd, so I had to come back on the 21st. There was just no way around it. But of course I want to go back, so I will. The next question was, when you were filming the Sharon Tate seance, did you feel yourself with any presence there? And you hope that Leonard's fiance and children are doing okay. You think of them often. That's very sweet of you. They are doing well. I'm talking to Jasmine, you know, once every week or two, and I updated her and told her that I mailed off the check for Leonard's brick and everything. And what was the other question? I'm sorry. Oh, Sharon Tate. I didn't feel any presence. However, before all this started, I was out on the balcony just kind of getting footage of, you know, just like the road, cars driving up the road, stuff that I ended up not using. But I ended up talking to the woman who worked the angel board, and I found her to be one of the more normal, well-adjusted people that was there. So I was really shocked when everything started that she was one of the people doing that, because I actually had talked to her and I got such a good feeling from her. I'll be honest, it made me believe it more watching her work the board, because she had not talked to any of those people. You know, I'd kind of been around. I didn't see her talking to any of those people that worked the board. There was like no conspiring or anything. And they looked as shocked as I was when I was filming it, when they were working it with her. That, I mean, I didn't get the impression that they felt like she was moving it at all. So for that, I did kind of feel like there was some legitimacy to it. Like I've said before, I mentioned this to Scott, I just don't think that I'm like a conduit that sees or has the ability to notice those kind of things, or like to see apparitions or whatever. He said maybe you do, you just don't, you know, you just don't think you do. But yeah, I mean, I didn't think that she was full of BS, but I also wasn't feeling anything myself either. So but it was a room with probably 30 people in it, coming and going, and I didn't see any of them like walking around going, this is BS. I mean, they all like kind of seemed shocked by what was going on and stuff. And I'll tell you the truth, David Oman called me the other day and was trying to get me to come back up there for something else. And he said, you know, Jordan, I watched your video. It was a good video and everything, but he's like, me personally, I don't believe any of that angel board stuff. So, like, he's like, I know it was a good video for you and everything, but he's like, yeah, I don't know how much of that I believe or whatever. So even you know, David Oman, who I made something that definitely like makes people second guess it, and he's sitting here saying, well, you know, I'm glad you got a video, but, you know, and I'm glad, you know, if the people that do believe that, you know, if they got something out of it, he goes, oh, I believe more in this kind of stuff and this kind of stuff. So, you know, even he, you know, it's like, even he's not trying to sell it off as like, see, I told you. He's not. So I'm even more, you know, it's kind of even more bizarre now than it was before I went. But it was a cool experience and not negative. So the next question would be, let's see. If there was a genie in a bottle that could grant you 3 wishes, what would they be? I wish that, there's one person I wish I could travel with, and I wish they would go. I think I don't want to say who they are because it's just a personal thing, but I wish that they would go. So that would be one thing. 2 would be that I get to do everything that I'm meant to do to show all of you before either I lose interest or before I pass away or something. I hope that whatever it is in the grand scheme of things that I'm meant to show everyone, I hope I get to do everything, and that it's not, you know, that I didn't have a long list of things to do and like just didn't get to them. The 3rd would be just that my grandpa will live another good 10 years, you know. I love having him around. He's the one eternal voice of wisdom that I can always count on. And you know, I probably don't tell him that enough, but I do tell him pretty often, and he always shrugs it off, so I know that he knows how important he is. But yeah, that's gonna be a pretty crappy day when he's not around to charge me $50 for good advice. So the next question is, I've been watching your vlogs for almost 3 years now, and you definitely put a lot of work and creativity into your videos. My question is, do you plan to, within the near future, write a book about your journeys? My daughter absolutely loves your vlogs, and most definitely your intro music. I don't plan on, I do plan on doing a book. I don't really necessarily plan on it being a diary or anything. What I want it to be is more of like a coffee table book about places that I think people should go, that I've been to, and they'll be all over the map of places that I've been, and I just, you know, reasons that I went, things that I liked about it, what's historically interesting about it. It would be more like that kind of book, because I'm pulling more back on really wanting it to be about me, and I want it to be about more of like kind of flaming the fires of exploration in the people that watch it, or just your creativity. Even if you can't go and go to these places, I hope it maybe inspires you to go read about them or watch more about them or things like that. Less so much about, it being about me. I'm just the legs and the voice of this because I can't keep my mouth shut anyway, so I might as well be talking into the camera while I'm filming it. And I think it just makes it more fun sometimes, especially if you enjoy my personality. I totally acknowledge when I started that I was not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's just the way that is. So, but I'm always me, and if you like me, then you know that I'm always going to have something to say, and I always just try and make it fun. I try not to like make anybody infuriated by any of my comments or anything like that. The next question would be, let me see. This one, I'd saved it and it's cut in half. You love the opportunity to do the one-time donation with the sunglasses. Is it a grab bag, or do you give clues as to what we have a choice from? No, it's really just I buy the sunglasses when I see cool ones, especially if it's at an interesting place, and then I just do, for people that sign up for it, I just do what I think is a more interesting or more extraordinary, more personal vlog to me. That's why a lot of the times I'll save those until I'm going on a trip somewhere, because I want those glasses to have a real deep, or not deep I guess, but like a real strong, when you look at them, you think of that one adventure, and you know that those glasses were on that whole adventure for you and for everyone else. And so it's just one of those kind of things. I don't really, that's probably the best way I can describe how I do it. I don't really go and run through all my ideas, because things could change, or plus I just don't like to give away all the ideas that I'm going to be doing in the future. I like it to be a surprise, so that's how I do those. The next question is, if money were not an object, do you think that you would enjoy living in New York? I don't think I would enjoy the weather in New York. Same problem I have in London, but I think both places, I think I would have a blast vlogging and daily vlogging. I mean, I could definitely spend, instead of cramming, 20 places into one day and just, kind of being on foot, which I know in some ways people really like those. Sometimes I'd like to, slow it down a little bit and do it the way that I do it when I'm here. So if I ever go to New York, if I could find a time where the weather wasn't catastrophic for John, that he would enjoy it, I definitely would be interested. I've thought about it, and I basically thought, hey, what I would be interested in is subleasing an apartment for 2 or 3 months and doing it that way. So it's not to say I won't do that, because I've thought about it. It's just, I just haven't really been inspired by any place that I've seen yet to do that, and maybe Paris is more like that, but I just can't think of what I would want to vlog there every day either. So it's kind of it's a tough decision. So for now I'm here, but I'm going to keep traveling the same way I have, and the same frequency that I have. The next question is, have you ever been interested in doing an Orson Welles vlog? You checked to see if I'd done one, but you didn't think so. Not really. Not a huge Orson Welles fan, really. I was always interested in him starting the Mercury Theater, because I knew how influential it was, but as far as the stuff he's been in, wasn't a huge Citizen Kane fan. And Touch of Evil I like, but not a huge fan, so there's just never been anything really that's made me, when I like somebody or when I'm interested in their craft, it, because it's pretty obvious. And I don't want to do a vlog on somebody who I'm kind of milk toast or lukewarm about, because I'm probably not going to have any kind of pizzazz to it. And so yeah, that's, if I go to Venice, I know that some of the stuff from Touch of Evil was filmed there. I would probably do something like that, because I've seen that movie numerous times. I saw it in the theater, but it's just not one of my favorite movies. I guess I would just say that. So I just haven't been real motivated to go do it. The next question, we have a lot of questions this time. Would you be interested in doing a meetup with some of your loyal followers? And is there any way to win or buy a set of Eric Singer's drumsticks? I don't think that Eric's drumsticks are for sale on the KISS website, but I know that you can buy one of his signed drum heads. I do know that because they sell those at the concert. I don't have a full set signed, and I have a policy with Eric that I don't ask him for anything. He's never said a word about it, but let's just put it this way, when I went and did my first KISS vlog, I did not ask him to put me on a friends and family list so that I would not have to pay the $1,000 for the photo and for the backstage and all that stuff. What I did do is I did contact him and say, hey, I'm thinking of doing that. Do you think they will let me vlog backstage? And he was able to kind of put me in contact with people that could answer that. Well, when I went to that show and he saw that I had done it, he was shocked. And because of that, and because of other things that I've vlogged that was sent to him by Stefan, he started volunteering stuff and offering it to me. And I find that to be just the best policy. I don't ask for anything. When London, he offered that. Brooklyn, he offered that. There's something else I'm going to do in the future, he offered that. And I told Stefan, I'm like, I'd really like to go to the LA show here in September, but I don't want to ask him. So I'm hoping that he'll, because I said I hate, being that guy, because I know everybody probably asks him for something. He goes, well, I'll tell you what he said to me the other day. He goes, actually, it was after the Brooklyn show. He said, I'll let Jordan go to whatever he wants because he doesn't ask me for anything. And I was like, I knew it. I knew that the fact that I don't ask, it is more likely for him to offer things. So that's why I can't do that. But yeah, I think, like I said, if you go look at the KISS website, I'm trying to remember what it is, KISS exclusive or something like that, they do sell his signed drum heads. If something happens in the future that I can get them for you, I will do that. I just can't promise because I know for a fact nobody is playing Rava Wines anymore. Nobody in that group is willing to play that place, but Eric was the first one to say he's not going back. So there won't be one of those where I can snag a pair because he'll have a ton on him. So yeah, that's all I can tell you. But I think, like I said, I think you can get the drum head, and the drum head's just as cool. It has the KISS logo and stuff on it. I think it's like $30. As far as a meetup, I've tried to do those. People just don't come, so I don't know, no matter where I've planned on having them, it's, even if I have them in London, people that were like an hour outside of London would write and say, oh, I wish you were closer to me, like, I was like, I don't know how much closer I can get. So I just am more focused on making the videos. But people, like I mentioned, I don't remember what vlog it was that I was probably going to go to Elvis Fest, and I did go, and a handful of people were there looking for me, and they got pictures with me, and they're like, oh, we were wondering if you'd be here. I was like, yep, I'm definitely here. And I was glad to meet them. I was glad to say hi to everybody. I just don't want to make a big deal about it, because then it's like, if I plan my whole vlog around it, nobody's there, then it changes everything. Or, it's just, I don't know. I've just tried it so many times, it just hasn't really worked out. I just have kind of gotten the impression that the people that watch me like me, but they're not the kind of people that necessarily need or want to come out and meet anybody. It's not like, I guess, maybe that's people that are like in their teens or whatever, probably more interested in doing that. But yeah, I mean, if you run into me, I'm more than happy to say hi or take photos or anything. I'm always cool about that. The next question was, you saw recently my Holy Cross Cemetery vlog and said that your family members are buried there, and Alan, you came across a bunch of old brochures from 60s attractions and wondered how you could get them to me. I don't have a mailing address or anything, so I appreciate the thought, but I just won't be able to get them. And I believe me, I have more than enough stuff in this apartment that I need to get rid of. I really probably shouldn't be taking in more. This closet behind me is so full of shirts that I almost can't squeeze another one in. So Yeah, I probably shouldn't be taking anything else, but that was a wonderful gesture. The next question is, as a former costume craftsperson, you love when I include the clothes, accessories. Are there any overseas trips that might include these in the future? I'm not sure. I haven't thought that far ahead. As far as am I going to go anywhere to see garments or things like that, I'm not sure. For once, I'm not. I know where I'm going next, but after that I haven't really made a plan. So your guess is as good as mine. I'm sorry, I wish I had a better answer. Normally I'm thinking a lot further ahead, but I just really haven't been able to find the place right after that I really want to go to. So I figure it'll come to me along one of these days of the next trip. I'm sure something will pop into my head and I'll be inspired then. What was the most difficult or challenging vlog to complete? That's a really good question. I hadn't read that one ahead, so that is a good question. Okay, I'll tell you. Between me, you, and this camera, the cemetery that Fred Astaire is buried in, you are not allowed to photograph there. And when I got there, there was a service going on pretty close to where he was buried, and I was bound and determined to do it anyway, because I've seen other people vlog there. There's only a handful of people that I would really want to do a vlog of, and I really had to wait a few hours to do it. I had to go and come back and everything, and that was really hard to do. And you may not be able to tell that I did it this way, but I was so paranoid that somebody was going to come up and yell at me that how I vlogged it was I did not do it the normal way. This is actually the only time I've ever done this. Normally I am holding the camera and I'm standing right here talking behind it. That particular time I actually held the camera and I just pointed it at his tombstone for I want to say like a couple of minutes at a time, and then I would look around, see if anybody was around, then I would keep doing it, then I would do footage of his sibling, like his sister and his mom and his wife and all that, and then I just decided somehow I'm gonna have to edit this together when I get home, because I was just, I just couldn't think clearly to do it. So if you go back and rewatch that vlog, you may hear, because how I did it was when I got home I did that. You may hear that I did it that way now that I'm telling you, but since there was nature and everything in the ambiance, me talking and doing a second track and putting it together and doing it that way, whenever I ran out of footage, I would just put a picture over, and then I would duplicate the footage, or I would slow the footage down, and I would use it was a mess to do, but nobody seemed to notice. So now you guys know that that's how I did that one. So that was probably the most difficult one I can think of. The next question is, can you name the top 3 cities you loved the most and why? Yes, Budapest. Loved Budapest. Budapest, I guess you would say. In Hungary. I just loved it. It was affordable, it was beautiful, so much fun, people were nice. I just enjoyed everything about it. Next would be, I really enjoyed Sintra, Portugal. Really love that, and I really love Sevilla, Spain. Those would be the 3. They just had cool vibes. I loved walking around, and if it weren't for the weather in Sevilla, it would be kind of like an ideal place to kick back and relax for like a month at a time. Next question. As a guitar player, you were wondering if I was familiar with Rory Gallagher, because 2 guitar players that I listed as favorites, Brian May and Slash, are heavily influenced. I have not listened to Rory Gallagher enough. You are absolutely correct. I don't know his work well enough, but I should check it out, because I do always see him mentioned, and I've just never... to my knowledge, I don't know his songs, but then again, if I mention that to a couple of my friends, they go, you know his music, he does this and this and this and this. So off the top of my head, I don't know. So I'll look into that, actually. Thank you for the recommendation. The next question is, are you going to be doing any more stuff with Kiss? Yes. That's the plan. There's one person that I have to work with to do this, and I gave him my phone number at the Brooklyn show, so we should be able to make it happen. The only caveat is, in this particular case, I have to have the vlog done in advance and let Kiss's people look over it, since it's going to be so close, or so much involved with them and their world, that I have to just make sure they're cool with everything that I put in the video. But I just don't know when that will be specifically. Okay, the next question is, the interview with Vinny was amazing, and James is so kind. The Kiss concert was great. The beard looks great. Do you think you'll be able to top New York? Of all the vlogs, they've all been fantastic, and I always wonder how you'll top them. What's in the future? Christmas with the family? I don't know any of that stuff right now. I'm sure I will make it back somewhere, you know, around the holidays or before, to see my family. Yeah, I was supposed to stay with Vinny on this trip, and then 2 days before I was supposed to stay with him, he calls me and he goes, it was actually when we were at Danny's Pizzeria having pizza, he calls me and goes, Jordan, I know you were gonna come stay at my house, but there's been a change of plans. It's too far for me to drive from where I live to Brooklyn and back, so I'm gonna go stay at my friend's house in Staten Island. Do you wanna come stay there? Also, and I'm looking at, like, I look on the map where Staten Island is, and I'm like, no way, dude, that's like way in a different direction from like where the concert is and everything. And I go, plus the point of it was to go stay at your house and to meet your mom and get all those stories and film all your memorabilia. So if that's really what Eric, you know, is kind of hooking me up with you for, he's like, I'm sorry, it's just, you know, it's just such a long drive. And I go, it's totally cool. I said, let's meet up tomorrow, or we'll meet up at the show, and I'll interview you before, and we'll hang out, and I'll film you, you know, backstage, and we'll do all that, and then I'll come back. And he's like, absolutely, like, I really want you to come back and stay at my house. You know, we have a bunch of bedrooms, it's a big house, there's plenty of room, you know, Stefan can come too. So Stefan might come. So yeah, Vinny was awesome, and there was, you know, Vinny, the first person that Vinny, I'll give you guys a little heads up, actually two people that he has stories about. The first person that's famous that he ever became friends with, it was before they was a nobody, like before they were anybody, was Steven Tyler. So he and Steven Tyler, he has more stories with Steven Tyler than De Niro or Joe Pesci or Kiss or any of those people. And then he also has a lot of Muhammad Ali stories. I'll let him tell you how he knew Muhammad Ali, but let's just say that Muhammad Ali liked Vinny so much that every time Muhammad Ali came to New York City, he would call Vinny, and Vinny said he would go to Muhammad Ali's hotel and watch TV for like 12 hours at a time with them. They would watch like The Dirty Dozen and documentaries and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So Vinny has so many stories, and honestly, if anybody, you know, ever wants to question his authenticity, type in his name in YouTube, Vinny Gonzalez, and almost everything that you'll see are Kiss fans posting them meeting different members of the band and saying, hey, can you tell me if this is a real autograph? I got it from Vinny Gonzalez. And every single member going, if it came from Vinny Gonzalez, it's real. Vinny's like family to me. Peter Criss said it, Gene said it, Paul Stan. I've seen clips with every single one of them. So yeah, Vinny was awesome. There's a plan to go back and visit him. Can I top New York? I'm hoping that I can always top whatever I've done before. Who knows? But thank you for the question and for the compliments. The next question would be, would you ever consider doing a past life regression? No, I'm not really interested in that. You've been a subscriber for 6 months, and in almost every one of my vlogs you've enjoyed watching and commenting. Oh, thank you. That's just a thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. What software do you use to edit your videos? Did you go to Amityville at all, and have you read Ace Frehley's book? No, I haven't read Ace Frehley's book. No, I didn't go to Amityville, and I use Power Director Pro for my editing. I just didn't have enough time to get everywhere, but yeah, I know what you're talking about with Ace Frehley mentioning Amityville, but yeah, I just didn't have time to go, and it just wasn't, I'm not really into like the haunted house type stuff, not that much. The next question was, you received the Wigwam Village postcard, and you were just thanking me. Oh, you're very welcome. That's very kind of you. The next question was, what is one thing that you want every Lionheart to know that is the most challenging and most rewarding about being Jordan the Lion? The most rewarding thing is that I've gotten myself to a point where I get to go anywhere, and I have, even better than that, I have really, really, really good friends that I can rely on that want to watch John. Not even that I have to feel like I'm burdening them by asking, but that they want to watch him so bad that they ask me to go places. Like, hey, let us know when you're leaving again. We really want to have him over again. So it's a blessing in that regard. I wish people realized how hard the full day is sometimes when they just crap on something, you know, because they just happen to not like the content, or like the topic or something. They won't even want, you know, I get it, but it's like some of the like minuscule complaints when I've put in like 6 to 8 hours or sometimes more of driving and filming and editing and stuff. Like, I know to some people they just go like, they just want to like go off and, you know, complain about something sometimes, but I've just heard it so much, I don't want to, it's not going to change how I do anything. So I wish people that feel the need to say something, they would just keep it to themselves when it's something negative or complaining, or if they don't like my beard, you know, it's complaining about it is not going to make me shave it any quicker. It will actually make me keep it longer. So yeah, I just wish, you know, more people just took the video as like, hey, it's a daily video. It's gonna be there. Sometimes I'm gonna like it. Sometimes I'm gonna love it. Sometimes I'm gonna hate it. And some days you may think about unsubscribing, and that's all okay. But yeah, I just hope that you'll realize that, you know, I am putting an effort into trying to make something entertaining every day. But that's it. I think that was the last question. Let me double check. That indeed was the last question. So thank you for all the questions. Have a great night. We'll see you all next month, and goodbye.